right. Welcome to the Ill Noise Business Playbook. I have Stephanie here with the Onyx Studio. Stephanie, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. I'm doing excellent. I think I've mentioned this to you in the past, but I grew up and I was in college in the '90s, and there was a band called Onyx that had a song called
Yeah,
Slam. So whenever I hear your studio name, it always makes me think of that song. But
my generation too.
yes, I believe that's probably the case. Before we get started in some of these, learning more about your wonderful business and stuff, I know that you kind of found us through some bread individuals. We talk a little bit about what that association's all about?
Yeah, I actually have known Lindsay for a pretty long time, even way back before she was doing the bread thing.
Nice.
And she had come in with her best friend to get their nails done. And we both got involved in some organizations in the community, and we just kind of stayed friends. And whenever she wants her nails done, she comes in. And,
That's nice.
of course, her bread is amazing.
Yes.
So try to buy that as often as I can.
Yes, Pink Kitchen Breads, both Lindsay and Jen, we feel so lucky ourselves. And as I was mentioning before we started here, Neha and I were just at a golf outing, and we ended up running into Jen's husband, and he said, "Oh, you got to get my wife and her associate on the show and stuff." And it's just been so cool to see how everything's kind of trickled from there. We love them, and they love you. So I think I'm going to love this interview. But yeah, and boy, if anybody wants sourdough bread, I think we both know
Yeah.
who we would recommend, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yes. Well, in order to have a business, you got to make the dough. See how I brought that together?
Yeah, I
Um,
do see.
so tell us about Onyx Studio. Tell us about what inspired you to start it.
Um, well, it is in downtown East Dundee. It's a small studio. It's just me there, so one woman show. Yeah, I had walked into a salon when I was 15 years old to get my hair done for prom, and there was one lady running this, awesome salon, and I was looking around. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I want to work here." And she said, "I'll give you a job." And that's kind of how I got into the industry. I just fell in love with the whole beauty industry and have been in it now for, well, I guess that's 30 years.
And so I know you've been doing it for 30 years, but you also just celebrated a very, very awesome
Yeah.
anniversary. Tell us about that.
Well, it'll be 10 years coming up in my space. I started it a little bit before, so probably about 11 years that I started the business,
Sure.
but I was just in like a corner of a friend's salon starting out, and then, searching for a space, and I found my studio and it was perfect, and now it'll be 10 years, which is
And
crazy.
by the way, congratulations. As we know,
Thank you.
it's not easy to run a small business. There's a lot of trials and tribulations. We'll kind of get into all of those. But what made you decide to just kind of say, "Hey, you know what? I need my own place. I need my own space. I don't want to be a part of anyone else, although they're wonderful. And I'm sure you've got some wonderful relationships
Yeah,
that you established and stuff. But what
I did.
what made you decide to kind of pull the trigger and say, "Hey, I want to do this on my own"?
I'm crazy. No, I'm just kidding.
No wonder we get along,
I
Stephanie.
I was working in salons, big salons, small salons. I've done both. And then after I had my kids, I kind of stayed home with them, and I just had like a few clients that I kind of kept to stay within the industry a little bit and not completely go out. But at the time, my um ex-husband, my husband at the time, he was traveling a lot for work internationally.
Okay,
And I kind of thought I wanted to get back into the salon industry, like being outside of my house because I was doing it at my house.
sure.
Um, and I was really involved with my kids' school and our church. And I kind of was like, okay, they're getting a little older. I have a little more time. I can do something. And I thought, who's going to hire me when, I have two little kids that get sick, and
Sure.
when my husband's traveling for a couple weeks at a time, they're just going to be like, "Oh, you can have a couple weeks off." So
Right.
it just kind of started where I was like, I think I'll just do it on my own.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had some ups and downs, and you've had some obstacles that you've had to overcome. So, as a small business, what are some of those obstacles that you've had to kind of deal with?
I mean, the biggest one was starting from scratch by myself. Like I said, I had a few clients who have been with me a long time, but I basically had to fill my schedule in order to cover all my overhead and rent. And, so starting from scratch was basically the biggest challenge, but
Mhm.
also being, a single mom now and owning my own home. So I running a household, taking care of the kids, the only person at the salon. So I'm doing everything
Mm,
everywhere. So that is a huge challenge too, just busy.
absolutely. And you mentioned your clients.
Mm,
How do you how do you grow your customer base? What sort of ways in which do you have? What sort of strategies do you have in place to effectively grow that customer base?
I mean, I've never really done any kind of marketing or advertising. Everybody has come to me through basically like word of mouth, a referral. And then as I did start to get a little busier, got a few like Google and Yelp reviews. And I think that really boosted me on Google. So I do get now a lot of people who say they found me just, on the internet.
Okay. And have you thought about actually incentivizing that in any sort of sense? Like not in a monetary sense, but have you ever thought about maybe asking people to, you know, to give you a review on Google? And if so, maybe they can get 5% off their next time that they see you or anything like that, or anything ways in which that you can, because there are so many different ways to grow your customer base with social media. Word of mouth, of course, is the best way, right? Because we don't have to pay anything. But have you thought about just different ways in which that you can incentivize things?
I never tried incentivizing it. I do have like a little thing in my salon saying, where to follow me. And,
Nice.
if you enjoyed your time, leave a review. I think most of my clients have just been with me so long that it's not even like a thought to be like, oh, I should review somebody I've been going
Sure.
to. So that is actually a good idea. I should break that.
All right. I won't charge you for that. That's free advice.
Thank you.
How are things different when, we had a kind of a big thing happen about 5 years ago in this country, right? And everything sort of shut
Yes.
down. So how did that affect your business when COVID hit?
It was a rough time for me because actually, like, not long before the previous year, I had a vehicle run into my building.
Oh gosh.
So that shut me down for a few months. Luckily, I had space to, continue working, just not to full capacity. And then COVID hit and I had to shut down again for 3 months. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like what is this world trying to tell me about,
Right.
this business? But I think it actually made my business a little stronger just because people were nervous about being in crowds or being around a lot of people. And because I'm just one person,
Yeah.
when you're there, it's private. So it's just me, and the client. So I think a lot of people came to me and said, oh, I don't feel comfortable going to a place with a bunch of people. So I actually think in the long run, it helped me once I was able to reopen.
Because you're a sort of one person shop, like you say, I bet you that actually increased the relationships that you were able to establish with your clients, because that was something that was a big first step for all of us to just kind of get
Yes.
out there and go anywhere, and the mask and all the other mandates that were out there and stuff. But I in a weird sort of way, I always try to put positive spins on it, but in a weird sort of way that might have actually helped with some of those really consistent clients that you had. So
Yeah, for sure.
when something bad happens, hopefully we can try to look at the positives. How do you keep up to date with all the trends in your industry and stuff like that? I will admit I don't. My nails aren't done right now, so it's not really my forte. My wife's got some beautiful nails and stuff, but how do you actually like just keep up to snuff with the trends?
I mean, honestly, social media makes it so easy. It's like you do still have to do your hours and learn, go to classes to get your hours every, couple years to renew your license. But really, the social media shows everything. So it's like all I have to do is go on, Instagram to any nail pages I follow or Pinterest. And I mean, I even have clients and they send me stuff or come in and say, can you do this? So, I mean, I'm never behind on that because of social media.
Actually, can you enlighten the audience as far as what that certification process looks like? You said that you have to take a certain amount of classes to remain certified. Like, what does that actually look like?
Oh, yeah. So I have, a nail license. I also have an esthetician license. So every 2 years, you have to submit, your hours. You have to take like 10 hours of continuing education to
Okay.
renew just to stay, like most professions like that have continuing education.
Sure. Um, you have mentioned, you can tell that you really love your clients and stuff, and you can tell that you love what you do. And boy, oh boy, may I just say, as somebody that had a little bit later in life, but still, I have just at a young age, my father passed, so I saw my mother kind of have to juggle different things as far as working and also still being mom and everything else. So
Yeah.
much pride, much love for you, for everything you're doing to raise your kids and still have your business as well. So I did want to get that out of the way. I did want to make sure I said that. So thank you so much. I know that it's not easy, and I'm sure you've had some good days and bad days, but obviously with who you are as a person, you're showing that you're doing the right thing in life. Put a smile on our face, will you? Tell us a nice little story about a client or two that's come along the way that you really know that you've changed their life for the better. We love positive stuff here on the Ill Noise Business Playbook. So tell us something that that's come out that you're like, boy, oh boy, I'm really glad I was able to assist her and help this person and whatnot.
Well, I mean, my clients to me are not just like customers. Like they are truly my friends. I mean, I see some of these people, most of these women, every couple weeks, and we share life stories and, talking about challenges they've been through, stuff with me. I have a couple clients who have been with me since before my first daughter was born, and she's going to be 20 years old.
Oh,
So, I
goodness.
mean, they are lifelong clients. They've seen me through so many life changes and ups and downs. And same, for me, seeing all their challenges and stuff. I mean, there's been times these women have stuck with me through like having little kids that were sick, and I had no choice but to just be like, bring them to the salon, and they'd, lay in the pedicure chair while I was working. And so they're like amazing, how they've stuck with me. But, I have our particular family who are, local. And I started with, the mom, and then she brought in her mother-in-law who became a client. And now I do the sister-in-law and her daughter and, my client's daughters. Again, it's like, I think I first did her nails for like high school prom,
Oh,
and now she just had her first baby.
oh,
So I have so many people who we've just gone through so many life events. And it's like, I talk to these women sometimes more than I talk to my own friends,
yeah.
because they're coming in consistently and we're updating each other. And that's why my social media, I don't keep under my business name. I keep it under my personal name, just because I want them to feel like, they can see my personal life and see my kids and, so it's been, I can't imagine doing anything else, honestly.
It's so beautiful to see people do what they're passionate about doing, right? I mean, then it
Yes,
doesn't feel as much like work as it could if you're doing something different.
very much. Yeah.
What's the best way for people to get a hold of you? What's the best, what's the best way for people to find you? Would like as many people as possible to go visit
Yeah.
Onyx Studio and visit you, Stephanie. So how can they do
Yeah,
so?
me too. I do have a website. It's www.onyxstudiospa.com.
Okay.
That just lists like my services and stuff that I offer. And then my Instagram is Olofson14.
Okay.
And that's where I post a lot of, besides personal stuff, a lot of my work and nails I've done and different arts that people want to see. So
Awesome. Well, listen, Stephanie, so thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. Really
thank you.
hope people can go visit you and see somebody that loves what she does. So you have yourself a wonderful day.
So
Okay, Stephanie?
you too.
You got it.